So different on you.
It's
Dolce?
yeah, Dolce & Gabbana light blue, girl.
Smells so different on you.
I smell good.
Yeah, girl.
Must be your pheromones.
Yeah.
We're live.
I smell good morning.
Good morning.
It's your Blue Line group with your Blue Line Wives Roll Call podcast. I'm Shannon Gilbert with Emerge Real Estate.
I'm Jamie Wright with Wright Dalbo Insurance.
I'm Amy Lewis, Priority Mortgage.
And we are coming to you live from LEPD Firearms and Range on Buffalo Road right here in Columbus, Ohio.
Good morning, Amy.
Hi,
How are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
You going to forget our mission statement, girl?
She's had a long
For,
week.
for those of you that don't know who we are, let me reintroduce us. We are a dedicated team of law enforcement families specializing in real estate, financial and insurance services, veteran creating ongoing and professional relationships, and giving back to our first responder families.
That was really good.
Thank
Yes.
you. That's really good. So again, good morning, ladies.
How was your week?
Hi. I'm trying to go live, and oh boy, excuse me. Oh, got it. Sorry, there's balls. Okay. I mean, my week's the same.
What's going on?
It's a little
Okay,
scattered
got it. Sorry.
today.
I really don't do anything interesting.
Shannon, turn it off. Just shut
trying.
the app down.
Got it.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, I don't do anything interesting. Did you guys do anything interesting?
No, I have 2 kids, and that's my life. Last night we did T-ball and karate.
Ooh,
I had to leave T-ball like 10 minutes early to get him to karate
Karate.
on time. He had to change 3 times between school, T-ball, karate, and
and he's 6?
6.5.
6.5, because that matters.
Yes.
So
6.5.
wait till he's like 13.
I don't know.
It gets twice as hard.
I know. But
Because
then I'll have 2 of them
That
too.
little one will be into everything.
I know,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I fibbed. So after our conversation last week,
Uh-huh.
I thought to myself, I have 3 adult kids, so 3 out of 4 has left the house. I'm like, I do need to start focusing on me.
Yeah, girl.
I need to, what does Shannon want?
Yes.
You're always there for the kids. So I'm,
S-H-A-N-N-O.
so yeah, I actually, as much as I was like, there's no way people can have self-care, I actually appreciate the conversation because afterwards, I was like, yeah, I'm going to focus on myself.
You did not know
Good.
that it was going to do so much good for yourself, right?
Would you-
Practice what you preach. I guess we should all do that.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
It's harder said than done.
So
What'd you do?
decide?
Well, first, obviously, you have to, soul search. What do I really want in life? What do I want, my career? It just belongs a lot of soul searching, and I'm not done soul searching yet, girl.
Nobody
Not working
is.
on it.
Nobody ever is.
So, yeah, I'm just starting, take care of myself. I started working out last week. I'm just going to start
Good.
doing me.
Good.
I know.
Do you feel better?
I do feel better.
Do you feel
I
rested?
feel more empowered.
Well, good.
Amen.
Good. Well, she's got her. Well, you're not red. You're pink today, but you should have wore red for your empowerment today.
Oh.
I
Be all empowered,
Navy
yeah.
blue.
So working out. What else are you doing?
No, obviously we just had the conversation last week. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I
She's
just
still
feel-
figuring it
yeah,
out.
I just feel better. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do what I've never really got to
Like
do.
spontaneous things.
Yeah, whether it's take a bath, although I haven't. I'm just saying, I'm gonna start focusing on me.
Yeah. And what's in your heart
Yeah.
and what makes you
Stay
go.
tuned.
She's still figuring it out.
Yeah.
That was the whole, point.
This
Like
is-
sometimes you just don't
Yeah.
know.
This is a very good TBD.
yeah. Stay
T-
tuned.
TBD.
Yeah.
To be continued.
Oh, TBC, TBD, to be determined.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
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 What about you? What did you take away from last week's conversation?
It was interesting because we did have somebody that said, hey, I really needed to hear this today. So I kind of reflected on that too. And if it just reaches one person, if we can help in any way, shape, or form, we obviously help Shannon too.
We didn't even
Just
know it.
talking out loud. So it kind of reaffirms the fact that, journaling or putting it down or talking to somebody about it or saying it out loud or putting it in the universe, it does really help whatever process that you're going through. So
Definitely.
it was just interesting for me to reflect. I finished my book. I made time to finish my book. You guys, I get the newspaper now because I don't watch the news. And so I read an entire week's worth of newspapers too. I got caught up.
How'd you have time to do that?
Well, like we said, you have to make time.
Yeah.
Right.
Because again, when you have children, it's you lose your identity, and that's
Yes.
basically what I'm finding my identity again.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said too. After the first baby, I had to redefine myself. The second baby, you have to redefine yourself with all these new parameters in your life too. So at every stage in life, you're gonna have
Sure.
to go through some of that. And even this week, I had it all down. Remember you guys when I was saying oh, I needed to get it organized and make a calendar and I did all that. But
Good
then
for
but then
you.
it's executing it.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
And then I
true.
tried to execute it, and I was like, bleh.
It's just overwhelming.
It is. It's very overwhelming. So I had to tell my husband, like, I'm really sorry that I've been kind of emo this week, but I'm trying to figure out how to navigate, you know, all these under these new borders or boundaries, I guess.
Boundaries,
what
yeah.
we're saying. So it's always a work in progress. Lots of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of prayer. We went to mass on Sunday and took Ollie, and she's like, when you guys get to know her, I mean, she's just doesn't stop. And so we were in the cry room, and she's just like making circles around us.
The cry room.
Yeah. And
That's what the Catholics have.
Father Sizemore, he comes, you know, like the holy water,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's usually like this little vat. Oh no, it was like a barbecue like basting brush. He comes in the cry room and he was like, "You didn't think you'd get away from me, did you?"
He knew you
we
needed
were
it.
so blessed.
Yeah.
That's right. So anyway, we had a good week. We
That's
did.
good.
What about
What
you?
about
Yeah. Same old, same old. I was trying to think of what I really took away from it. I realized that I have no time.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I knew that. But I had a lot of feedback too.
Did
A
you?
lot of things, yeah. A lot of time to reflect on what I want to do.
Mhm.
Not really sure when I'll have time to execute that, but we're working
See?
on that.
See,
yeah.
making a
Working
list.
together, right? Like,
Yeah, a lot of things. But I did have some good feedback, and I think some things maybe hopefully worked on some people's hearts. I don't know, but this is Holy Week for me.
Yeah. Holy Week for me
So
too.
There's a lot going on in my heart this week too. So lots of prayer for certain people that need it, want it. You know, lots
Mhm.
going on. Today's Maundy Thursday. If you don't know what it is, call me, ask me, check it out, and I will talk to you about it. Tomorrow's a big day. It's Good Friday. So
I would ask, but I'm
that's-
afraid to take up the whole show.
it will not.
I'm just
basically.
messing with you.
It's very quick. So if you want to know, hit us up.
Hit us up.
I will let you know. You know our Facebook page. So
Yeah. So, ladies, want to dig in?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, we're just going to talk about, I guess, the hatred that is around America towards law enforcement.
yeah, we just went hot to cold, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
We did. So,
Yeah.
I can see Amy has her notes.
Not very much.
Why don't you get us started, girlfriend?
Well, I think today, I mean, the main topic that we're going to talk about is how we deal with them. Whether we means us individually, our spouses, the people in the general public. I mean, how do we deal with that? I mean, we don't really want to get into.
See,
you
I
know,
took the
business.
topic, I guess, way different. I was thinking
Well,
about,
good.
yeah, I guess that's the different personalities we have. Like, I Googled and researched, like, different restaurants that denied service to law enforcement. And,
Oh, did you?
yeah,
Oh, she
It's
don't
actu-
call some people out. I hope you're not one of them.
that's right.
You don't want to be on Shannon's list.
It's actually, like, I mean, it was pretty interesting information and sad at the same time. So, Amy, go ahead.
Well, the first thing I did is I asked my husband. Obviously, he's done this for 30 years. I was like, what do you do when someone comes up to you and says something? He's like, I just ignore him
Mhm.
or I laugh at him or, you know. So, for instance, one thing that he has told me that's happened to him, he'll be out directing traffic somewhere. Of course, you know, when you're directing traffic, it's because maybe there's a road closed, something's going on, construction, football games, you know, what have you. And every single time someone goes by, won't let him turn because they're not supposed to turn, and they call him a name and they say derogatories. They even call me names, and I'm not even there. That's unfair. So I asked him, I said, what do you do when someone calls me a name? Do you defend my honor? He's like, I just laugh and wave him on, or
Yeah.
I say, like, well, thanks. Maybe I should kick her to the curb or whatever. So, but one thing that he did point out to me, and I'm sure that everyone will agree with this, when you're in uniform, you're not to be offended. That's just part of the oath that you take. You cannot be offended when you are in uniform. So,
But I
that's
think
one
that's
thing.
the problem is because although they're in uniform, they're human still. Like, when you take off the
Yeah.
uniform, they're so human.
Yeah.
So just because they're in uniform shouldn't allow other people to say
Right.
things or shouldn't allow
But-
them to be offended by it because they still have feelings. They still,
And I think each of them deal with it a little differently, whether they are on a public street or private property. I think they deal with things maybe a little bit differently in different manners. So,
so are you saying in private property, like, they're going to like kick their
no,
arse?
no, but you never know what someone's going to do. I'm sure there's some type of loophole maybe on private property that there's a little more that might be able to be said or done, and depending on whether there's a threat. If there is a personal or a credible threat towards that person in uniform, you
Yeah.
need to handle that appropriately
Just tell
too.
them, like, meet me after work. I want to take my
No,
uniform
well,
off.
I wouldn't say they're going to
In the
knock down in
private
the
property.
schoolyard, but no, I wouldn't say that. But I'm sure that everybody handles it very differently. So that's just from his perspective that, you know, he is somebody who just has a very calm demeanor anyway, and he has very thick skin. I will say that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
they're
so-
trained.
Yeah.
They're trained. And I mean,
He's
they,
like that anyway. If there's one thing that I admire about my husband, that is he does not care what other people think about him.
Yeah.
And I could really learn a lesson from him, as a lot of people could.
Do you think it's trained or more as just they're numb to it? Like,
oh, I'm sure that there's a
Oh,
level
right.
of that.
I feel like they're just so numb,
both.
and that's just the way of life. That's just what it does.
Yeah.
As to law enforcement. So I just think like they're just, I don't know, it like hardens them. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, after so long, you just kind of,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like being told no all the time I mean, just for me, like for anybody, like a human psyche. Being told no and no and no and no and no.
Yeah.
You're just going to, you know what I mean?
Don't press the red button.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't. Don't.
Yeah.
So what else you got over there, Ames?
I think a lot of people handle things differently in the aspect of they try to make themselves hidden so that they don't have to confront people. So think about if you're in law enforcement, most of us may not be able to be found if we're homeowners. You guys understand that. There's a lot of public information out there that anybody can get to, searching you by your name or maybe by where you live. So a lot of us do take those measures.
I mean, we are
to-
kind of famous.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's rather like I get what you're saying about the house, but guess what? We live in technology today.
Right.
They're gonna find you.
If they want to, they can, but at least we in this community take steps to protect
Sure.
ourselves and our families, and that's one way that we deal with that. A lot of people have an FOP emblem on their tag. Maybe they take it off.
So that's something that I have down to discuss. Do you guys have FOP symbol tag on your car? Because again, you're letting the public know that you are somehow
Yeah.
in law
No.
enforcement.
Not to say that I'm not very proud to be part of that, but absolutely not.
Do you, Amy?
I do have one.
I do
and I
too.
have had one for many, many. In fact, I probably have had one for over 20 years.
And you still have
Really?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I also have a cover over my license plate.
Yeah, I've
and
noticed that
it's-
too.
It's a little, it's got a small bit of tint, so you would have to,
You'd have to be pulled
really be looking for it.
So when they pull you over, you'd have to be like kind of behind your car to see it, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, is that why you do it?
I mean, maybe.
Well, let's be
So
realistic.
yours is small. Yours is like that because they have two sizes.
Well,
It's like-
I've had mine for
Girl, mine's
so
like-
many years.
I got
that
the big
it's-
one.
I do have the big
oh
one.
yeah, I got the big
My
one.
husband has the little one.
Yeah.
But he's had a change of car since then. I haven't. See, I still drive an old car. So I still have the old original one on there. I think a lot of it's all worn off. So
Yeah.
here's another reason why I didn't take it off, and I didn't even think about it. But when you look at it, most of it's all worn off anyway. So you don't, unless you know what they are, you're not going to know what it is.
Which just inviting the public to basically know, because they don't know if it's you, your spouse, like you're driving
Right.
vehicles. They don't know who is in law enforcement. So you could be a target.
Right. Well, that brings up another point. I've seen people driving around with the actual license plates. You know how people get like their favorite sports teams? I see people driving around with the actual like Ohio Cops or FOP or something like that. And I think it's very visible. It is, it's kind of, I don't want to say in your face, but it is very visible. And it kind of makes me wonder what makes somebody do that? How is that different than the emblem? What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I guess I would say, I guess we're saying all of this to say, in the realm of our topic today, this is what we have to actually think about. This is what law enforcement families actually have to think about in terms of how do you want to put yourself out there. And in today's world, is it safe to do that or whatnot? And I mean, I guess, not to take your topic away here, but I guess the bottom line from all of this is why? Why? Kind of where did this come from? Because it wasn't always like this, right? So I guess going off of that subject about the license plates, wouldn't you say that we have to talk about this because this is just how we have to? I mean, this is what the things that we have to think about.
Yeah, no, I remember just a couple years ago, people were talking on Facebook that they were taking them off so they were not targets of hate crimes.
Right.
Right. That's how all of this relates.
Right. So, and I guess the why for me, when I was thinking about this is the media portrayal, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because so many people think whatever they read
It's
is
true.
the truth.
Yeah.
If it's on the news, it's got to
Yeah.
be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so much media attention around the topic, and they don't ever give, credit where credit's due. It's always just what's what's the drama? You know, what's the dramatic point?
Well, you never hear the whole story either. You only see like
Exactly.
clips of
You never hear the end.
picture or videos of just what they want you
Right.
to see.
Well, right. And I think to that point exactly, I think anything that you hear on the news or you read in the media or the social media, anything in print, is always the interpretation of the author.
Sure. Yeah, but we all three can read a book, and we all three would come out of with it something different.
Different.
I
Yeah.
think we've
It's just
proved
different
that.
perspectives. Yeah.
Every time we have a topic, we all come
Yeah.
up with something different.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, I talk to, like, just in general chit chat to many Leos, and they don't even like to go to fast food or even pull in when they're in a cruiser. Afraid
Right.
It's going to be, their food's going to be spit in.
Oh,
or,
yeah. Absolutely.
Or you're
it's
sitting duck.
unfortunate.
yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. Some people, but there's some people out there who want to go to the fast food in their cruiser because they want a free meal, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess if they take, their standards aren't very high.
But I wouldn't want somebody's.
I wouldn't
don't
want
know.
nobody's hawker up on my food.
But you know what? I'm not the type of person who's looking for a free meal. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do. I'd feel bad about that. I'm not going to use my position to get a free meal. But to each his own. Some people may need that. We don't know. No judgment. But
Girl, as frugal as you are, you're not going to get a free meal.
no, I don't take
No?
a free meal. I do pay my
Aw.
dues. When my dues are paid, I give what is due.
So does he like to go through any restaurant?
Oh,
Fast
no.
food?
No,
Yeah.
no.
No,
Yeah.
you know what? Tim doesn't even sit down at a restaurant when he's in uniform.
No.
Never. He would starve before he would go to a restaurant.
Well, I mean, I make my husband's lunches for him every day.
Yeah.
Mostly every day.
Yeah.
You're so nice.
That is so nice. Yeah. I'm going to make lunches for myself. So,
That's right, because it's a year of Shannon.
That's right.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, when I was, again, researching, I was just trying to find, like, maybe what law enforcement across the nation has dealt with. I mean, there's tons of stories, especially about fast food. Ow, it just hurt. You're, like, all, like, up in it, like, what you going to say, girl?
I know.
So, anyway, oh, my gosh, I should have printed this out all much better. So, you want to help me?
Oh, I was like, I didn't know what she was doing.
She needs her cheaters.
I do need my cheater. So the police officer in St. Cloud, Florida was denied service at a local Walmart. The officer said when he went to check out, the employee refused to ring him up
Because, I mean, the question is why?
because
Like,
he was in uniform.
right, but why was that stigma in place in the first place? Like, where did that employee get that?
Well, that employee got fired.
Okay.
So
good.
that was the employee's obviously
Personal opinion.
Yeah, so obviously they got rid of him. And then an ununiformed police officer was denied service at an independently owned Verizon retail near Boston.
Uh-huh.
Employee got fired as well. But could you imagine being on duty,
Right.
going into a Verizon store? Like the story didn't tell what he was going in there for,
Yeah.
but obviously either to buy a new phone, pay a bill,
Right.
or phone repair, and then was denied service.
Well, he could
Just-
have been going to take a report from an employee.
Well, yeah, I don't think it was that.
I mean,
'cause-
it could have been official business.
yeah,
You
but I mean, I
never
think
know.
it was like a personal.
But
anyway,
while I'm in here, I need a new cord because they
he
keep
got
breaking.
denied
Yeah,
service.
It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
how crazy! And there's cafe owners in Oakland, California, that indicated they would not be serving any type of police officers, and they would be asking them to leave if they were in their facility. The owners of the cafe stated in an Instagram post that having police present causes our physical and emotional safety to feel threatened.
So what do they do if they need if they need help? You know?
These
What do you do?
owners, these businesses are not.
well, they're going to
thinking
call
very clearly.
911.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not going to think about that. They're just going to.
And who's not going to show up, or who's going to take their time showing up?
Well, they
You
have to
know,
show
I
up,
mean,
but, you know,
it's,
but yeah.
it's not going to be a priority.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
And
only
I-
shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, I guess depending on what the run is, if there's a shooting there, then it definitely is a priority.
Oh, yeah, they're
Priority
all over
run.
that,
Yeah.
but-
And I guess too, I mean, this is a pretty big topic, but it's also very relevant to police wives too, because I mean, I don't know if I would say we're scared because we all have that coping mechanism now, but I mean, we are, you know?
Well, how do you guys personally deal with any hatred type of situation you ever had?
Well, it's a good point that you said that. So let me bring up
Yeah.
another thing I found. A lady at Kroger's, I don't know. I have to go back to my notes to look. She was denied service at a grocery store, Kroger's, because she had Blue Lives Matter t-shirt. She said the girl went over and told another cashier, I'm not cashing her out. She has Blue Lives Matters t-shirt on. Refused to cash her out, so another employee had to come over.
Well, I hope
And
she's
ring
out of
her.
a job too.
She is. Yeah.
Mhm.
All because of the shirts, and she was a wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? That's what I'm saying.
Is that not crazy? I'm going to see where that was at.
So what do you do?
Honestly, I think I have pretty thick skin. I just ignore people.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's
Spring,
all you
Texas.
can do.
Oh, Texas.
Texas.
You know, we
In
were
Texas.
at one of our tailgates that we put on. Were you standing there with me? Where this guy was just riding by and we had the blue line flag. Was it you?
Yes.
Yeah, it was you.
And it was my kids.
And he said, well, that was a different time.
Oh, well, we had more than one incident with
But
us.
he
yeah.
said something to the terms of like, what a disgrace to the flag.
Mhm.
Was that
It
you?
was me.
standing there?
Oh, yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the
And
guy.
you know, he was looking for a response,
Mhm.
and we just didn't give him one. I mean,
No.
you just don't give people a response because I mean, you have to like,
Yeah.
what's going to happen next if you do? Is it really worth it?
Mhm.
You know, just
Yeah.
let it go.
Or maybe just say, you know, like, I don't know, I'll pray for you. God bless. Like, just turn it
Oh,
like around.
I mean, I will pray for that person, but I wouldn't say that out loud because
Yeah.
sometimes that fuels their fire. You know what I mean?
Wave.
Yeah, just
I don't-
Yeah.
I
mean,
don't- we just
you-
ignored it. We didn't say anything.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't. I don't. In fact, I didn't even remember that. But now that you brought it up, I do. That's how much it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, because they were driving by and they yelled it out the window.
he was on a bike.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
he
riding
was
a
on a
bike.
bike.
Like a
Yeah.
motorcycle or a bike bike?
No, a bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
maybe I wasn't there.
I mean,
maybe I heard
it
the
just
story.
happens. You
Well,
know, it just
here's
happens.
the point of how I take all the hatred
Mhm.
for whatever it's worth, and everybody feels their own way, which is fine. But you know what gets me through most of the days is that I know that God knows my heart, and that's all that matters. And He's going to know everybody else's hearts, and that's all that matters.
That's true. That's very true. And I think for a lot of us too, in the heat of the moment, it's like, what do I do with all this energy? Like, how do I? Because without shouting back or
Right.
without,
Yeah,
you know, making some sort of protest against it.
it's hard to
Um,
refrain sometimes.
But yeah, we have to.
So how do you feel about ride-alongs today? Because again, like not talking about ride-alongs, I'm talking about like it's scary being in the passenger seat
Yes.
because they don't know
Yes.
if you're a spouse. They just think you're a Leo, just like
all right.
That's
know.
true. But
and
to
it's
that,
scary because you're basically a target.
yeah. But to that point as well, like I'll say it 1,000 times. That there's so much validity in doing a ride along if you have an opinion and you're open to new information. Do a ride along. Sign
Yeah.
up for a ride
No,
along.
of course, but I'm just saying, like, it definitely, like, even if we go to a work function and
Oh yeah.
like Jim has his obviously work car, that's what we'll take because he's in uniform, and it makes me nervous every time. I'm always like, you know, watching my surrounding, being aware of my surroundings, just paying attention because I'm like, I'm a target just like he is.
Right.
Because
But
I'm sitting in this car.
I think we're like that inherently, though, just being a spouse.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's ingrained in us. So, what do you do when someone's hiding behind a screen?
You can't control the cyber.
Yeah, you just ignore
Bullying
that
or
too.
You have to.
Just
Yeah.
don't read it. So
Yeah.
what you're saying, like, is there's like obviously hate pages out there. Just don't go in there and read it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
And not to say that you can't have a private conversation with your spouse about how angry you are or how much it frustrates you. And it's actually good to talk to your spouse about it because their take on it might be completely different and it might just like, you know, like, hey, I don't really care about that. Or, you know, talk to your girlfriends, other police wives.
Oh yeah, they get it.
You know, they get it too. So,
But there's so many people who make comments about things that are hiding behind the screen.
like, what do you mean?
So social media pages. It doesn't have to be their own page, but let's say we're giving this podcast. People know who we are, or what our husbands or spouses may do for a living, and they make a negative comment on our page.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're going to have that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to take the bad with the good. You're definitely going to have that.
I think a lot of people struggle with not defending themselves, though.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's really nice to be able to sit behind your computer, you
Yeah.
know, and well, I won't go there, but it's nice to be able to have that comfort. I mean, what if we were having a one-on-one conversation? Like, you don't even know me, you know?
Yeah, that's it. So it's all about judgment. People are judging you based on a preconceived notion that they
Correct.
know nothing about.
So
Right.
judging you based on your spouse's occupation.
Or they're judging you, or they're judging somebody, or you based on what they saw on a news report, or,
Yeah.
you know, and again, I mean, take the media with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. If we're not there by now, when are we going to get there?
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But it's not hatred, but even, and you'll definitely face this, and you will too. She'll just face it earlier. When your kids are in high school, not that they should have gotten invited to parties, but there's certain things
yeah,
like they
they
didn't
won't.
get invited to, or like they just weren't made aware of because
The other kids are making bad choices.
well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, or people wouldn't want to come. Like it just, or wouldn't want to come over. I don't know. But sometimes police officers just scare people.
Yeah.
Like I'm married to one. Every time I get pulled over, it's only been a couple of
Yeah.
times. I'm like, oh my God.
I know.
Yes. I mean, it's just, yes. So I guess it's just a normal reaction.
But you know what? Even when to
was
your
like,
point,
It's only been a couple of
I
times.
know. Well, we won't go there. But
I'm being dead serious.
No,
when
me
you're on
too.
the interstate and you know you're going a little over the speed limit and you still see, the local or the trooper or whatever, your heart still kind of skips a beat.
I
You
mean,
still
we-
let off the gas.
We
Yeah.
still get tickets.
Yes. Trust me, we still get
Yes.
tickets.
Well, State Highway Patrol.
I tried to. I was like, here, I'm just not leaving my best friend's mom's funeral. Like I'm
Yeah.
on my way to work.
I don't care.
Here's my Apple Pay card. I still got my ticket.
Was that OSP?
Yes.
They don't save your ticket next time. Save your courtesy card. They don't care. They do not
don't.
like the FOP. So save it next
But
time.
anyway, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. So,
But point being is that
We
I
did.
think we all are in agreement that you cannot believe everything that the media says or writes or puts in print about the law enforcement community because it's only being shown by the author's point of view.
right.
Right.
Well, listen to this. There was oh gosh, I need my glasses. So back to the fast food really quick. I just jotted some down because there's so many. But McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Burger King, Taco Bell is just to name a few that officers have been denied service. But listen, a St. Paul police officer's private vehicle were vandalized. Their cars were parked down the street near headquarters, and they removed and or loosened the lug nuts from their personal car tires.
I'm
Oh,
not surprised
well-
by that at all.
And I've heard that happen to a police wife because she had the tag.
Is that not crazy?
That's crazy.
Well, some of the guys too. Well, first of all, thanks for mentioning all of those businesses that I do not frequent or never will.
And Starbucks, I mean, there's several. Like, it would take me forever to write them all down.
Okay, so, but also, when the guys work special duty, they have stuff done to their cars when they're working
Yeah.
special duty. Let's say they're at a fast food restaurant working special duty and they're in their own car. There's food on it. There's things smeared on it.
Yes.
There's slashed tires.
Yes.
There's lots of things that people have experienced.
And it says that more than half a dozen Chicago police cars were vandalized outside a Chicago police recognition ceremony being held at a local hotel. They found rocks nearby, and all of their windshields were smashed.
Did any of these articles discuss how the department handled it, or
Yeah,
how
of
they
course. Like, there was,
Yeah,
handled it
that's what I was-
individually?
there was statements, but I mean, obviously, then I would.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's 30-minute show, but there was statements, of course, because news stations got a hold of it, and there
Sure.
was statements, and
But I guess
this was that they did arrest some people.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the point is too is like they didn't retaliate. There was no retaliation. They just had to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah, they were
So-
inside, like, honoring people on here. Just
Yeah.
because their cars, obviously, is marked police. And, yeah, I was reading, too, in California, oh, my gosh, some kind of town where it says police and it's red, white, and blue. They're trying to get them to take that down.
Yeah. It's everywhere. And it's unfortunate
Like
too,
the colors, like of
Yeah.
the U.S., yeah.
Obviously it's all fueled by, in my opinion, again, media, but it's also too, it's sad that a lot of uninformed people don't understand that this is a calling for these men and women, and they have a duty to serve and protect, and that's what they're trying to do. That's what they're trying to do for you, regardless.
Could you imagine if these departments did not exist,
Right.
or if different type of people were being in this position? Like you said, this is a calling for these people. These people have a gift to do this.
Right. I mean, it's not anything that I could do. So how could I make any sort of judgment on? I mean, like, for example, like I'll be like, "Hey, babe, how was your day?" "Oh, we, had a homicide, and we're here at the body, and blah 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 or whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just,
I'm just doing a podcast on Thursday morning.
You know what I mean? Like,
through some
there's no way
emails.
that, God just didn't make me like that,
Yeah.
And it takes a really strong person to be able to handle that.
Again, I think they become numb after seeing so
Sure.
many homicides.
But
and-
there's no way that I would have even entered into that knowing what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is a calling that they need to serve and protect. So thank God for them, because
yeah, same with nurses, like in the
Yeah.
first responder field. I could never be a nurse.
yeah,
No.
So same for them as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that.
And these are people who are looking out for you every day. And when you call 911, they're the first ones there. I mean, they deem more respect
Yes.
than the average human.
And thank you for bringing that up. It is dispatcher week, so thank you to all the
Yes.
dispatchers out there, because the call begins with them. But they're the line the lifeline basically between the officer and the caller.
And you know, it amazes me how those dispatchers are so calm.
Yeah.
You know, if you've ever
Yeah.
done a ride along, or I mean, heaven forbid, you've actually had a call, they're just so calm the whole time. And I'd be like, hang on, we're coming. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, I could
It takes a
not
certain
do their
personality for sure.
Yeah.
does. I
For
mean,
sure.
they should not be. They should not be hidden in the background. They need to be out in
Yeah.
the forefront. Just because maybe they're behind a screen again, which I could not do their job. And many kudos to all of you dispatchers, because it really takes a special person
It
to
does,
do what
it
you
does.
do.
Yeah.
And again, like, I wonder what they have. You know, again, like we talk about police officers, if they get in a shooting, like they have debriefing, I guess it's called. Like,
Yeah.
wonder if dispatchers have that. Like when they're taking a call over maybe
Oh,
a
I'm
dead
sure.
child,
I'm sure.
or
I'm
you
sure.
think I'm gonna have to ask a dispatcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet you they do. I mean, there's just, you got to walk away from that sometimes. Like if it's highly emotional and you have to keep all your
No, I'm
emotions.
wondering if like there's counseling involved, because if there's
Oh, yeah.
if there's a shooting, like you're off for 3 days, there's counseling.
Oh,
there's,
I'm sure.
So I'm wondering if it's but they take it every day.
Well,
Like, I mean,
let
a
us
call-
know.
Like a call, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's not
if you're
just
a dispatcher,
Let us
email
know.
us, hit up our Facebook page, let us know what happens to you.
We
in
would
those.
love to have you on the show too. That would
Yeah.
be a good one.
You
yeah,
have
yeah,
such a different perspective on things than what we do. But to that note, too,
one of
think
my past
about
clients was a dispatcher for Dublin.
think about a lot of times dispatchers are done with their end of the deal before they know what actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you feel like they're left without the outcome? That's got to be difficult too.
Oh, yeah.
Not knowing whether or not that child was found safe,
Yeah.
or not
That's a
knowing
good
whether or
point.
not that person lived from the accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's got to be hard not to have that closure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
come on. But yeah, I mean, I guess too, like we could go on about this for a long time.
I mean, but can't we with all topics?
I know. But to wrap up the conversation, I guess, again, the best thing to do, in my opinion, and I guess our opinion, is just to kind of ignore it,
Yeah, I think that's what
walk
most
away
people do.
from it, talk
Yeah.
to another police wife,
I don't know. I guess it
talk
depends what
to
kind
your
of mood I'm in.
spouse. You know.
Don't get her fired
Yeah,
up.
don't call Shannon.
You can call one of us. We'll talk you down.
And then I guess next week we are just gonna surprise you.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Just
we're
talk
gonna-
about whatever.
We're gonna come at you with a surprise.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, it's going to be fun though.
yeah.
But if you are a dispatcher or know of one, hit us up, because we really want your take on this,
Yeah,
and we
that'd be
want you
great.
to be a part of our line too, because you are.
Absolutely. Yes. And how would they hit us up, Amy?
You can hit us up on our Facebook page. Right now, we're on LEPD Live's Facebook page at Bethel on Bethel Road, but you can hit us on our Blue Line Wives Roll Call is our podcast. Our email is bluelinegroupofohio@gmail.com, and then of course our Facebook page, Blue Line
You can
Group.
hit us up on the DM.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that what they say?
DM, PM,
DM?
which other
Yeah.
way you want to say it? Yeah.
PM? Oh, private.
Private
Private.
message. And
Yeah,
then DM
or
is
D.
direct
Man.
message.
Yeah.
Facebook is just FB Messenger, right? FBM.
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger.
FBM.
FBM. Hit us up on the FBM.
Anyway,
And next week is going to be all about slang and
acronyms.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's for abbreviation. Come on, guys, you don't abbreviate. You know, in your texts, you abbreviate
Totally.
everything.
Yeah, exactly.
LOL.
Acts. Yes, exactly. So thank you for joining in. We are live from LEPD Firearm and Range on Bethel Road, right here in Columbus, Ohio. We are your Blue Line group with your Blue Line Wives Roll Call podcast. Until next time, we will see you Thursday.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Woo woo.